right, cool. So now you can do it again. Let's go again. That's where you go to F.
Okay. Mm. My fingers are nervous. I'm so sorry.
Oh man, those all right. You don't gotta apologize. Keep making a mistake and keep going on. See, each time you make a mistake, it's a learning opportunity. That's fine.
Okay. So you just corrected me. All right. You select it.
D.
Oh. Oh,
That
I'm
goes
gonna
with
have
that
to
goes
go
with F. That
somewhere
goes
to
with F.
practice.
C. Mm-hmm.
As I say, it's not a case where I don't know. I don't know why I just
Well,
feel so nervous that my
that's
fingers not doing the right thing.
that's okay. That's how practice goes. See, there are different stages to practice. So there's practice where you practice to understand the material. So that's where you are at now, where you understand. But then you have to repeat
Mm-hmm.
that understanding a couple of times
Yeah.
until you're not thinking so deeply about it anymore. See,
Yeah.
if you have to be thinking deeply both for the right hand and for the left hand, then that's what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you add
So I just
the performance to it now, where you the mind knowing that it's being recorded, or knowing that you're
mm-hmm.
in the presence of two of your teachers now, that's the added stress, which is similarly what happens in an exam situation where you get to an exam. You might have been like in one-on-one class with me now, and you play and you're fine. Once you do that a couple of times and you're comfortable playing it in my presence, is one thing. When you go into an exam
Mm-hmm.
situation or into a convention situation where you have lots of unfamiliar faces and unfamiliar situation, that adds that
Mm-hmm.
nervousness to it. That's another thing that you got to balance. But
So playing it over.
one thing that exams teach you though is the ability to make a mistake and move on. All right. So let's say I'm playing and I go, um, just skip over that and keep going, and just go. That's how you do it in an exam. You don't try to start over ever.
Okay.
It doesn't
Okay.
matter how bad the mistake is. Skip, keep moving, because what they are
Mm-hmm.
typically grading for in an exam situation is how well you can keep the music flowing. Because let's think about
Oh.
we're at a concert in church, for example. Somebody raise a song, and then you miss the key. It's not like they're going to say, hold on, since she made a mistake at the dear. Pause at dear. Fix it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back 2 lines and come back to that. No. They're just gonna keep
Yeah.
singing. You have to figure out, say, oh,
Yeah.
I made a mistake. Okay, where?
Perfect example.
Yeah.
Perfect example happened Sunday. We tried to play this for the offering, and well, Brother Odin was the one leading, so to speak, but the congregation got to singing, and that's the end of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because while we are at playing as the deer again, they're singing "You Alone Are My Strength, My Shield," so it adds pressure. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's
didn't go
another
so
that's
well.
that's another thing too. Like I remember the first time I ever did an instrumental in First Church. That was at Arnold Road, Kingston, back in the days. You guys weren't even around yet. Now,
Mm-mm.
Arnold Road was coming from a place where there was no music at all. It was just clap hand and tambourine. Right?
Okay.
Well, tambourine was probably the only music and the voices, but no other instruments. And then we had a big wooden piano where some of the keys were not tuned and it was not mic'd. So I had to open up the top and everything and be banging on that thing. And then Barton came along and said, oh, I actually have a keyboard. I'm going to bring it next week. When he brought that keyboard, it was like convention. It's like, wow, we've never had anything like this. All right. And then we had a couple of weeks of that. No, when we get to the offering, one of the ministers say, you can play an instrumental sometime for the offering. So I was like, all right, cool. So that night, I started to play an instrumental. Think I was playing, what's the name of that song now? This. Yes, I made it too small in my eyes.
Okay.
Be magnified.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I get there and the church take over, I had it in mind to change key and do all kind of stuff. They don't know what that is. They are just waiting to see if they
Mm-hmm.
can hear that song to join in and worship. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
thought about it and I'm like, okay, how can I get? So we start Portmore Temple and I go over there now and I try in this instrumental thing same way. Now I bring up the tempo. They catch it beyond to the ancients of days. Game over.
Okay.
So I had it. I had in mind to do the bass part. While I'm doing that, blessings and honor, they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, how can I get the people into the culture of knowing the difference when it's an instrumental versus when they are supposed to sing? Or I can play an instrumental and then I can invite them based on how I play, I can actually invite them to sing along. So I figured it out. You see, the more repetitious you are, the more predictable you are, more likely they're going to take it over. But you see, if they hear you doing things that are unusual, you're like, oh, what's that? So I find myself, if I'm doing the same blessings and honor and I don't want them to take it over, I might go. The unpredictability makes them hesitate.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, oh, okay, he wants us to listen. All right, let's just listen. Right? So by the time they catch on to it, I change the key. And I just do, unpredictable things that just force them to say, don't sing, man. I don't want you to sing right now. But when I might do a couple of those, and then when I want them to actually sing along now, I just get real simple and more like a choir style. And they actually pick up, say, okay, he's playing more simple now. And it will feel like we want to sing. And then your 1 and 2 person start singing. And I actually encourage that by playing it again. So when you do that, they actually start singing. So I kind of figured it out after a while. So I still recognize, 'cause even when I come St. Mary, I do the same thing. Normally, when if audience say you want to do a particular song, when I start it, they normally just listen, and then I look on them face, I realize, oh my, they want to sing. All right, let me just keep it simple, and they actually join in and start singing. So it's something you learn after a while, and then part of our job too, as music leaders, is we have to teach them because they don't know. Because I remember the first time I played something like this, they did not know how to clap that. The drummers did not know how to play that. The tambourine players were like chiki chaka, chiki chaka, chiki chaka, chiki chaka, chiki chaka, and then they did not know how to rock, and it was a chaos. I'm like, okay, go back to scale. All right, let's just keep. What I did then is I called the choir one side for rehearsal one day, and I just spent that whole rehearsal teaching them about quote unquote shout music and how to clap it. I'm like, stomp, clap, stomp, clap, and then gradually go fast and teach them. Now, when they got it, we'll come back to church one day now, and for offering, again deliberately, I did recognize that song? Yeah. So once I raise it like that now deliberately, I said, all right, I actually want the choir to participate, though I did not tell them that we were going to do this song, but because I was training them on the song the day before. Once I started, they started them down there. And one of them that was, I give them even tambourine lessons, how to play the tambourine. Tick-a-tick, instead of ticky-taka, ticky. Once they catch it, the whole congregation jump on it.
Okay, coming from very far.
Yep. So by the time, some years later now, we actually did it as a choir song, whole church did on it. And then we did a little faster one called Glorious is Thy Name. Glorious is Thy Name, oh God. They know how to adjust. But now we'll probably have to go back over it because the skill of the particular musicians have to be of a certain level to play that properly. So I know it hasn't been played that much across temples because it's a little bit more technical. All right, but yeah, man, good job. I appreciate the effort so far. So, like I said, just go through when you're practicing, do the right hand alone, do the left hand alone, and do that a couple of times, and then put it together. What you can also experiment with doing is doing the bass alone, just a single note, and then along with the single note, you play the melody. So, for example, as opposed to, alright.
Okay.
Yep. Because especially for grade 1 preparation, you mainly need oh, there's somebody that was supposed to join the class and I did not send them the link. Did not remember. 1 second there. I was brought it there again. Oh, there. Okay, so a student from overseas that's supposed to join from the US. Supposed to join us. They might not be able to participate, but they want to listen in. That's fine.
Okay.
Brother Odin, welcome, man. Brother Joe, welcome. We were just occupying our time until you guys get here. You're kind of just walking her through the practical assignment in the meantime. So you guys probably pick up a little hint from whatever was said, so you can apply that for yourselves. All right, so let's talk about music theory. So the aim is to get you guys up to grade 1 level. That's what I'm trying to work on, and to have a couple of persons with grade 1 music knowledge so that we will be able to bring the rest of the team up. All right, so I have an untitled score here. Okay, here comes the other student. Okay. All right, so we're going to start off with this. Everybody knows about the treble clef and the bass clef, right?
Yeah.
All right, so what are the names of the lines of the treble clef? Anybody can answer.
It's E, G, A, B, D, and F.
E, G, A, B, D, and F. So we got 6 lines.
No, E, G, B, D, F.
Okay. And what are the names of the spaces?
Face, F-A-C-E.
Cool. Can somebody else tell me the lines and spaces of the bass clef?
So that's G, D for the lines, that is G, E,
All right, tell me them in order. So G and then
um, G,
mhm.
C, E, oh,
Na 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 na. So do you remember the acronym for it? It's similar to the treble clef, except that instead of starting at E,
oh
we
yeah.
start
So
at G.
it's yeah, G, B, D, F, and A.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you very much. And what are the spaces for the bass clef?
Uh,
Anybody can answer. Sister
You
James is
mind?
talking
Yeah,
to.
anybody can answer.
Okay, it's all
A,
co-eat grass.
C,
So A,
right.
C, so all co-eat
C,
grass. A, C, E, G.
Perfect. All right. So again, I'm gonna ask you guys to study that, like how you study your times table, because for the rest of your musical life, you're going to need to know these letters, and eventually, we are going to need to know 4 staffs, 4 clefs. All right. This is called the SATB. This is important for choirs. For musicians, also need to know it. Um, so it's soprano instead of treble clef. Treble and soprano are synonyms, right? Soprano, S, A, alto, T, tenor, B, bass, which are typically the 4 main voices on a choir. And it's the 4 main characters of all instruments as well. So if you think about an orchestra, you have the high pitched sounds like the flute, the violin, and so on. Those would occupy the regular treble
Right.
clef.
Easy.
And then, sorry, someone is talking to me. Oh, is that Naomi? You open your mic?
I'm so sorry. I was talking to my brother. I'm so sorry.
Greetings to you, though. All right.
Greeting.
All right. Cool. All right. Right. So the altos would take in the high pitched but not so high pitched instruments. So of course, the piano would encompass all of those because the piano has a very wide range, right? The piano and the harp have several octaves, so they encompass all of those. So you can typically, most, if not all the time, piano music is only written on the grand staff, which is what you're looking at now, which is a combination of the treble clef and the bass clef. Typically, notes for the treble clef are most.
Excuse me, Brother Andrew.
Yes,
Are you sharing?
yes, I am sharing. You are not seeing what I
Oh,
am
we're
sharing.
not seeing it. No.
Is anybody else seeing what I'm sharing?
Yeah, I'm seeing.
Yes, I'm seeing.
Sister James, maybe something will go on with your device.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what happened. Okay, I'm seeing it.
All right. Right. So typically, notes that are written on the treble clef here are played by the right hand, and notes that are written on the bass clef are usually played by the left hand. I have to use the word usually because that's the general rule, but there are, of course, exceptions to the rule. As the more you get advanced, is the more all the rules that you think you knew are broken. All right. I'm going to start you off with some of those rules right now that are broken as you get more advanced. Now, let's talk about the names of the keys. We have 7 white keys on the piano from A to G, all right? That's basically it. Keeps repeating, A to G. And we would say we call the white keys naturals, and we called the black keys sharps and flats. We would also say that in naming the white keys, C, D, E, F, all right? So in reality, there is no E sharp. I'm gonna go more to, I need C4, which is usually middle C, right? All right, so really, there is no C sharp, sorry, there's no E sharp. After E, there is F. And there is no C flat, right? After C, going to the left, there is B. This is a universally agreed upon rule. E has no sharp, B has no flat, F has no flat, and B has no sharp. Is everybody with me so far? Is anybody lost? Raise your hand, ask a question. Going once, going twice. All right, cool. So everybody is with me. Now, as we get more advanced in music, we actually do have E sharp, and we actually do have F flat, and we do have C flat, and we do have B sharp. Let me walk you through an example of this. The C sharp major scale sounds like this. All right, that's the C sharp major scale. What are the notes of the C sharp major scale? Let's discuss that. First note is C sharp. What's going to be the second note? Anybody?
D sharp.
D sharp. What's going to be the next note?
E sharp or F.
That's where we start having E sharp. Now, because this is an automated thing, as I press the key, it's putting the note. So it's not actually writing it in C sharp, but here's what I could do to make it write it in C sharp. I could add, oh, that's not going to work either because, okay, I wanted you to actually see the sharp signs. So what I was thinking I could do is, wait, why am I not seeing what I want to see? I should be able to see the, oh geez, something has changed here. I should be able to see the key signatures. I'll show you that. Yeah, I'm not seeing that right now, but all right, next time I'll show you guys. All right, but yeah. All right, so let's do this. C sharp, D sharp, E sharp. Sorry, take this off. F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, and what comes after that?
B sharp.
B sharp and C sharp. Why is this? Because typically when we are writing a major scale, we never ever repeat the letters back to back. So if we start out with C, we go up the alphabetical order. The next letter must be D. The next letter after that must be E. We don't say C, D, and then D again something, and then E, and then F, and then F something, and then, you know, we don't normally do that. Think about the C major scale. What are the notes of the C major scale? Anybody? Somebody. What are the notes of the C major scale?
C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C.
Perfect. All right. So naturally, notice C, D, E, F, G. Once we get to G, we go back to A, B, C. All right. Somebody else. What are the notes of the G major scale. It only has one sharp. Come, Sister James, speaking on you now. Tell me the notes of the G major scale.
All right, so that's G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G again.
Want to make any small adjustment to that list?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Let's go again.
Mhm.
So it's G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G.
Perfect. So notice the similarity now with the order of letters. Once we start with C, we just continue with the next letter. So for example, if you guys are in a music theory exam, all right, and you really want to go super fast with your theory exam, and the question asks you to name the notes of any particular scale, all you have to do is write all the 7 letters right away. And letter number 8 is going to be the octave. Most cases, they just ask you to name the 7 notes of the scale. If they want, they will ask you for an octave. But all you have to do is just write the 7 letters in alphabetical order. You don't even have to think about the piano at all. You don't have to think about any rules or anything. Just write out the 7 letters. If they ask you to name the notes of the A major scale, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, just write those letters. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then octave is going to be A. And then after you've written the letters, what you need to go back and think about now is which ones are sharp as opposed to which ones are natural, or which ones are flat as opposed to which ones are natural. Here's another rule too. In your major scales, you can never, ever, 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 never, ever, ever, never have sharp and flat together in the same scale. Not if it's a major scale. All right? Always bear that in mind. A major scale is very disciplined. The letters go in alphabetical order, and it's either no sharp or flat at all, as in the case of C major, or there are sharps, 1 or more, or there are flats, 1 or more. That's it. All right. So if you ever are writing or naming your scales and you find yourself saying sharp for one letter and then flat for another one, academically, even though it might make sense in actual playing, but academically, if you're writing an exam, you cannot use sharp and flat at the same time in writing a scale. All right. Unless a major scale, let me be specific, right? Unless the question is asking you, for example, for enharmonic names. All right, if you got your notepad, you might want to write that down. Enharmonic names. That means it's another name for an established note. As we're learning now, C, natural, could be called different things. I can think of maybe 4 different names that I can give to this one key. I'm going to throw this out to all of you now. Anybody can help me solve this. Let's see if you can give me 4 different names for this key.
For just a single note?
Just a single note, yes.
Alright, so you have C natural,
Right?
B sharp, and also some say C natural, you have B sharp, and it's also could be the flat note for don't remember the term for it, where it can be flatted about 2 times and end up on that note with a double flat. That's what came to mind.
All right. So you can think about natural, sharp, flat, double sharp. All right. Those are actual terms. Not used a lot in regular music, but like I said, as you get more advanced, You may have that. You might not have that in grade 1 either, so it's not something you have to necessarily worry about. So C could also be called B sharp. C could also be called D double flat. All right. I think it's just 3 for C, right? How about B? Give me a couple of names for B.
Okay, C flat, B natural. It would be a double sharp for A, I think.
A double sharp. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, Joe. Talk to me. Give me some names for this key.
That's G, right?
Yeah.
All right. Some names for G. So we have obviously G natural. We have F double sharp.
Right.
So we have A double flat.
A double flat. Perfect. All right. So there you have it. You have 3 names that you can find for practically any of the white keys. All right. So if a question is asking for an enharmonic name for a particular key, then you can name it just any other name as long as it's correct. And you may not have to pay attention to whether it's sharp or flat necessarily. All right, but if they just ask you to name the notes of a major scale, then do not repeat the letters unless it's an octave, and do not combine sharp and flat signs. All right. So let's talk about key signature. So if we're looking at a piece of music and it has no sharp or flat, then we know right away this is in the key of C. Evidence, when we're playing the C major scale, we don't need any white keys. Why is it doing it like that? I don't want you to do it like that. Let's play the detached. All right, that's our C major scale. No sharp, no flat. Now, and this is what I recommend when you guys are working on your assignments. For example, we give out assignments to play a particular song or to learn all the major scales. And Joe, I'm going to ask you to encourage your students to do that, to learn them in fifths rather than chromatically. If you're already savvy or you're already in the advanced category, if people like Davon want to do that, that's fine because he's been given them already in fifths and should already have that foundational work. But for all newcomers and beginners and lower intermediate people, I recommend learning them in fifths. Why? Because the fingering is maintained for much longer. Because if you play C major and then you jump to C sharp, right away you have to change your fingering style. And then you go back to D, you have to revert back to the first fingering style. And there's a lot of changes. But by the time you get to F, you have to do a different, even though F is a white key, the attitude for playing the F major scale is a little bit different from playing it in C with the right hand. Although with the left hand, it's the same. See, so the variables are quite many. So I would recommend learning them in fifths instead. So do C major, jump to G major. Okay, I hate when it does that. So let's play it here. So you would notice that G major has 1 sharp. So this is something that you guys can take note of. All right, and I'm recording the session, so God willing, I'll make it available so all of you can rewatch it. But still take your notes, all right? So every time you go up a fifth, you must add 1 new sharp. All right, that's a basic rule. So when you play the C major scale, no sharps, no flats. But when you go up a fifth and you play the G major scale, now that requires 1 sharp. You go up a fifth to D major, now that requires 2 sharps. You go up a fifth to A major. Now that requires 3 sharps. You go up another fifth to E major. Now that requires 4 sharps. You go up a fifth to B major. That requires 5 sharps. You see this? You see the strategy? Go up a fifth, add a sharp. Go up a fifth, add a sharp. Everybody with me so far? Let's test if you are really with me. Can somebody... We already did G major, so can somebody tell me the name? Odin, let's come back to you. Tell me the name of the notes that make up the D major scale.
Okay, so the D major scale is D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D.
All right, so what are the 2 sharps? C sharp
And F sharp.
and F sharp. All right. Next, A major. Mr. James, can you tell me the notes that make up the A major scale? You can look at your piano to help you if you desire.
Yes, so that's A, B, C sharp, E sharp,
Mm-hmm.
E,
I think we got one. We got one too many sharps.
yeah.
So let's go again. A,
B, C sharp,
Mhm.
D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A.
Perfect. All right. So A sharp requires 3 sharps. There you go. Joe, E major scale. What are my notes?
With E, right?
Yeah.
So that's E, D sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, hold on. E, F sharp, G sharp, E. Hold on. Keys. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B. I remember what it is. E, F sharp, G sharp,
A, B. We're at B.
A, B,
Next letter in the alphabet.
C.
Is it sharp or natural though?
Yeah, that's natural.
Nope. That should be sharp.
So wait, in E, right? E,
Mm-hmm.
E.
So B is 5. C sharp will be note 6.
Look at C. Sharp, D sharp. Yeah, I'm for some reason I'm in F. I'm looking at F as natural. Yeah.
So this is what makes music theory so different from playing, right? Because you can have somebody who's very savvy on playing, and then when they sit in a music theory exam, they kind of freeze. Because what music theory requires you to do is use purely imagination, right? Know some rules and also imagination. So the rules can help you to go faster, where you don't have to sit and think long and hard and deep for a very long time. So like I said earlier, once you get to one letter, you know the next note has to be the next letter in the alphabetical order. The only thing you have to figure out is if it's sharp or flat. The other thing that can help you guys very well is to learn the order of sharps. So I'm going to name this. Come on. Oh, I see why that's not working. Turn that off. Right. So I'm going to name this order of sharps. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to just put the sharps. I'm going to use 7 of them. Yeah, I'm just going to use whole notes. Okay, so the first sharp, wrong octave, F sharp. So if you see a piece of music and you only see one sharp sign, the sharp key that it has to be is F. Usually they don't put it down here though. So usually they put it there. So in terms of key signature. But anywhere an F is in this case, you use a sharp. Now there are two possibilities, Joe, because I've kind of taught you guys this already, though it has been a while. Let me just see how much is still fresh in your mind. There are two possibilities. What two keys could this song be in that has one sharp? What's the major key and what's the alternative minor key that it could be?
That's G and what is that?
G what?
We're talking about G, right? One sharp.
One sharp. So you see a piece of music and at the beginning you just see one sharp. What are the possible keys? G major
G
or?
And what is that? Is that what call that? F sharp minor?
Nope.
G.
So you remember the term relative minor?
Yeah, that's what I think about.
What is?
Sorry. You see, I apologize. I am looking, but because I have a wicked headache, so my eyes are not working what I'm supposed to be seeing. So I literally just looked at G and just went down. I'm supposed to go to a minor third. I know it's a relative thing, so it should be E. Actually, the minor, right? Go to this here, on to minor third, right? It should be E.
All right.
Yeah.
So, guys, we have the term called relative minor. So, if you think about the key of C, C major, the sixth note in the scale is the relative minor. So, what's the relative minor of C? Put in
A minor.
A minor. With our sister James?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, the sixth note in the major scale is its relative minor. So you can either go up 6 keys in the diatonic scale, or you can go down 3. It's usually much easier, it's closer to home if you go to the left and go down 3. All right, a minor third below is the same as a sixth above. That's the relative minor. So in the case of G major, again, Sister James, just to test how well you're on your feet, G major has one sharp. All right. What is the relative minor of G?
E minor.
E minor. So if you see one sharp, it could be a G major piece. It could be a E minor piece. We'd have to do some more observation to determine whether it's in the major or in the minor. Now, if you see two sharps, the second order of sharps is C. All right. You don't have to try to figure it out. If there are two sharp signs at the beginning of the piece, then the order of the sharps will be F sharp and C sharp. But the question is, what two possible keys could this piece of music be in that has two sharps?
D major or B flat or B minor, sorry.
Perfect. All right, two sharps. It's either D major or B minor. All right, and then the third order of sharp is G. All right, F, C, G. So if there are 3 sharps, you don't have to guess and wonder which, you don't even have to go through all of the major scales in your mind to figure out which one of them have 3 sharps. No. What we need to do is to learn the sharps in order and memorize them. So we have F, C, G, and the next one is going to be D. Not E flat, no, D sharp. All right. So if you see 4 sharps in a piece of music, the order of the sharps, F, C, G, D. Now, again, music theory has a lot of analyzing. Let me see if anybody is analyzing. What pattern do you notice in terms of the order of sharps?
It's go up in fifths.
They go up in fifths. So just like I was encouraging you to learn the actual scales in fifths. And when you go up a fifth, you add a new scale. You add a new sharp each time you go up a fifth to play another scale, you add another sharp. But also the actual sharp that you are adding is a fifth of the first sharp that you already added. Right? So you can memorize the order of sharps, F, C, G, D, and you can also memorize the order of flats. So I'm gonna give you this for homework, guys, to study this ahead of next class. The order of sharps and the order of flats. What are the order of flats? They actually spell a word, which is what makes it easier. Normally, I find that my students tend to memorize the order of flats a lot faster than they memorize the order of sharps. Why? Because the order of flats actually spell a word. This is the order of flats. Can somebody just name them for me, please?
B-E-A-D.
Perfect. So they spell the word bead. So if you see a piece of music and you see only one flat sign, make no mistake. The first flat is B. So I need to pay attention every time I press the note B, it must be flat. But the question is, which major scale requires me to use a B flat every time? Come, Joe, let me see if the headache mash up that too.
If that one.
All right. And if it's one flat, it could be either F major or D minor. All right. Which major scale requires us to use 2 flats, B and E?
B flat major.
B flat major. All right. B flat. So again, if you haven't yet learned these major scales, it might be a challenge to you. All right. So I'm not making the homework next week for you to be able to name all the notes of the flat scales. All right. But you should be able to name the notes of the sharp scales and also study the order of sharps 4 and the order of the 4 flats. All right. I don't think we need to do more than that for grade 1. In total, there are 7 of each, 7 sharps, 7 flats. But we don't need to do all of them right now. All right. 3 flats. What's the key signature? What are the 2 possible keys? Three flats.
E flat.
E flat. All right. And what could be the alternative key?
C minor.
C minor. And if it's 4 flats, what's the key?
A flat.
A flat. And alternatively?
Minor.
F minor. All right. Perfect. Sister James, any question?
Well, I am hoping to get this recording to go back over because I'm a little bit I wouldn't say totally lost, but one of the concepts I'm not getting.
Yes.
And I really can't even verbalize. I don't think I understand enough to verbalize what I'm not getting, but I'm missing something.
Okay, so where
I'm
was
missing something.
all right, so let's
In terms of
put the flats aside and let's just deal with the sharps. What is it? Is there any area that we left you in terms of dealing with the sharps?
all right. So around the time when you talk about if you see one sharp,
Okay.
which key you could possibly be in. I don't think I get that totally. And then
All right, so
just the whole thing.
I'm gonna help you real fast. I needed you have pen and paper. I need you to write this down for me.
Yes, I have.
All right, so I needed to write out in one line the notes of the G major scale. All right, let's write out C major first. Let's start with C major. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Let me know once you've done that. So when I'm editing, I'm gonna try to put some visuals on the screen. But I'm gonna update the raw recording first, and then I'm gonna try to go back and edit and put some visuals on the screen so you can better connect the dots as well. All right, so next let's go for fifth. What note am I at now? From C?
G.
G. So below C, write out all the notes for the G major scale. So just start with G, go up in alphabetical order, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then you go back and put the sharp sign after the F.
Right.
All right. Let's go for fifth from G. What note am I at now?
You're at D.
D. So below that, below the G, write out all the notes for the D major scale. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. And then go back and put in the sharps. We need an F sharp and a C sharp.
Okay.
All right. Then let's go below that and put the next fifth. What's that going to be?
A.
A major scale. So A, B, C, D,
Right.
E, F, G, A, B. Yeah, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A.
Right.
And then go back and put in the sharps. So we need F sharp, C sharp, G sharp.
Okay.
All right. So as you're looking at your paper now, look at the C line. Everything is natural. Then you go below that, the G line, there's one sharp. Then you go below that, the D line, there is two sharps. And you go below that, the A line, there are three sharps. I'm going to ask you to do one more, the E line. Let's do it, the E line.
Yes.
Four sharps. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E.
A, B, C, D.
And let's
right.
And you put in the sharps. So you're going to repeat the F sharp that we did before, repeat the C sharp, repeat the G sharp, and there's one left. If you go up a fifth from G, that will tell you the next sharp.
D.
D sharp.
Right. All right.
So below that, maybe skip a line and just write this title that I have on the screen, order of sharps. And then you could write F sharp, comma, C sharp. Going too fast. I'm going to give you a chance to even write the title.
I did actually. I'm with you.
Okay, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp. And I did tell you that there are 7 sharps in all. At this point, I could ask you to name all 7 sharps, and your knowledge of fifths should help you to actually do this. Let me see if you can tell me the rest. There are 3 left.
Alright.
F, C, G,
G, D,
D sharp.
C. That would have to be
Keyboard there far from you. Look on your keys, man.
alright.
Think about the letter. Don't even try to. You have to try to picture the key itself. Think about the letter. So you did D. What's a fifth up from that?
From D.
Mm-hmm.
B.
Now start. D would be 1. E would be 2. F 3. G 4.
A.
A 5. So the next
That's
sharp
A.
is A sharp. How many we got so far?
That's 5.
All right, so we got 2 more to go. What's my next sharp? So I was at A and then I sharpened it. If I go up a fifth from A, what do I have? So A count, A is 1.
B.
No, A would be 1, B would be 2, C would be 3, D would be 4, if you're looking at your keys.
Oh, so you want it.
So remember, if you look at the
So
order,
wouldn't that be E?
E, right? And this is where we start to get into the technicalities of what I was saying at the introduction, where we start to get more advanced.
Mhm.
Normally, there's no E sharp, but now we're into the advanced territory. The next sharp in the series is E sharp.
Which is technically F.
Right. And we got one more.
All right. So
all we need to do is to figure out what is the fifth of E. We should know this already because we already know the E major scale. Fifth of E.
B.
That's perfect. And this is another technicality because technically there's no B sharp, but we're in the advanced world.
Mhm.
So B sharp, which is technically C.
Mhm.
All right. So this is basically what I was explaining. So what you can do, just study the first 4. All right. Don't overload your brain with 7. I just did that so you can understand the concept. So the order in which the sharps are added to the scale is in terms of fifths. If it's 1 sharp, it's going to be an F sharp that you're going to add to that scale. If it's 2 sharps, you're going to add F sharp and C sharp. If it's 3 sharps, what are you going to add to the scale?
G sharp,
F sharp,
C sharp, F sharp, and
G sharp. But say it in order: F sharp, C sharp,
F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp.
Right. Because if you don't say it properly, next thing you see 2 and you mix up which one should have be the second one. You want to learn them in order. So if you go see 1 sharp, you say, oh, how them go again? C? Okay, 1 sharp, just add a C. No, it's 1 sharp, you must add an F. Right? If it's 2 sharps, you can't add an F and a G. No, it must be F sharp and C sharp. It's very specific. So learn it in the specific order. All right. So the order of 4 sharps: F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp. Memorize that. And what else are we going to memorize? In addition to what we've been doing before, the names and the spaces of the lines of both the treble clef and the bass clef. And that's where we'll pause. Advanced guys like Josiah, you can learn both the sharps and the flats. And you can message me for any further details. And I'll drop some more information. I have some information that I need to put together that, like I said, I've been working on some documents with Josue. So I'm going to chop it up and put some stuff in the Google Classroom. And I'll make this available so that you guys can rewatch it. All right. So again, The homework for this week, memorize the order of sharps, 4 sharps. And if you've gotten the sharps and it's easy for you, you can move on to memorizing the order of 4 flats. People like Josiah, go ahead and do all 7 for both. 7 sharps, 7 flats. All right. And map that to the major scale so you see how it relates. So when I am playing the G major scale, that's when I need that 1 sharp. What is that sharp going to be? F sharp. When I'm playing the D major scale, now I need 2 sharps. What are those 2 sharps going to be? F sharp and C sharp. When I'm playing the A major scale, I need 3 sharps. What are those 3 sharps going to be? F sharp, C sharp, and D sharp. All right, you just learn them and memorize them like that. It's a little tedious to memorize, so I recommend that you don't try to memorize all 7 the first day. You know, what you can do is test yourself to see if you can rewrite all of that information from memory if you want to. But try to memorize maybe the first 2. You know, come again, test yourself. Next day, memorize the next 2. Next, because you got 7 days in the week. So if you memorize 2 per day, you can actually go over them a couple of times. Well, all right. So when it comes to music, guys, one thing I want you to always remember: short, frequent repetitions are always preferred in comparison to long, exhaustive swatting sessions. You try to swat for 1 hour, chances are when I come back to you and ask you the same question again, you're not going to remember what you just read. There's too much information to cram all at once. If you do a little bit and it feels really easy, it's easier to come back the next day and regurgitate that because it was so easy. And you get a next like an easy chunk, etc. Easy stuff that. That's 2 days worth of easiness you're adding up. 3 days worth of easiness you're piling up. 4 days worth of easiness. You see, and now you have a lot of knowledge that most likely will stay permanent. You can cram information and maybe I ask you the next 15 minutes and you can somehow fight and tell it back to me. But let me try you back next month. It's a different case. That gone because it is just kind of permanent, temporarily stored here for recalling it. It's like CXC. When you guys were studying CXC, there's a lot of things that you memorize that you could have tell back a teacher when you're in a class. Let me ask you them same information there right now where you didn't know so much when you're in high school. You don't remember nothing because it was temporary. It was just for exam. You see, after exam done and you left high school, give you 1 year, you don't remember none of that. Brain wipe that clean. Move on. Next thing in life. But these information that I'm telling you, I have known these information since I was 12. You know what I'm saying? 12 years old, and I've never had to study them again. But they have been permanent in my brain because I had to recite them every day when I go to class. I used to do classes like 5 days a week. Right? And before I could touch the piano, my teacher would ask me certain specific questions and we had to answer them every day. So by answering them over and over every day, it become a part of us. So right now, when I hear a piece and I find the key, immediately I'm thinking, okay, so that's C major. What does the C major scale look like? What do the diatonic chords look like? It's a whole series of information that's going through my mind just to think about the key of C. You understand? Right away, I can map out what C looks like, what is likely that I'm going to do in the diatonic system, you know? And then you build on, stack on more advanced information on top of that as you go gradually. But what's important is little by little by little, but make it consistent and repetitive. That's how you master it. All right, so that's that. You guys get a belly full tonight, so I'm going to give you no more information.
I have a question.
All right, go ahead.
I just want to know. So you said that if on the staff you see 4 sharps, that would automatically tell you that you are probably gonna be playing the piece in E. That's what you
E
meant?
major, yes.
Oh, I think I got it now. Okay.
And then in the key of E, what are the sharp keys that I'm going to use in the key of E? F sharp, C sharp, G
Oh, so you
sharp,
have to
and D
know
sharp.
that too. Okay.
So
I see.
anywhere
All
you
right.
see a F, you know, say, oh, I have to sharpen that F. Anywhere you see a
Sharpen it.
G,
Okay.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because
Okay.
as you read the
All
piece,
right. I think.
what happens is they give you the key signature at the beginning of the piece. As you read the piece, there are no more sharp signs. You have to just know them. You're just going to see a regular G on the second line. You understand? You have to now know that, oh, I am in the key of C. So when I see this G, it is sharp. And this is why we practice the major scale daily. See, so once you think E, your fingers have a certain attitude for E without even thinking about it.
Okay. I think I caught up now.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
No problem. Any more question, Oden? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Joe?
No question. But just I notice though. I notice some more music. More, me take it turn music still. They say it's each sharp. Funny enough, they are the sevenths for the. It's like C as like for G. The sharp for it is the seventh for the scale. If you go D, the seventh is the sharp, is the added sharp for that scale, and then you go up. The sevenths are the odd